Are you part of the in crowd? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-minute tour of the final day, day 5 of the Yikra. We've been talking about the altar of transformation. We talked about the behemoth, the class of animals that walk according to animalistic instinct, and that we should not be as they. We talked yesterday about the bakar, the cattle, the oxen that breaks through, that breaks open, seeking to try to find the boundary and get across to what's greener on the other side. Today we talk about sown, the flock. We're talking about sheep and goats. They represent to us the crowd mentality. In Exodus or Shemot chapter 23 and verse 2, the Torah says, do not follow a crowd to do evil. Many of you will remember the idea of fad, for a day, that which is popular right now, and crowds will go and spend money they don't have to be included in among those that look a certain way or have a certain thing. Everybody wants to be included. Everybody wants to be a part of that which is acceptable and popular. No one enjoys the experience of rejection. Going against the grain, going opposite of the crowd is often a painful experience. Remember those days in high school when you didn't fit in? Everyone else was popular and you were a part of the other crowd? No one enjoys that when you go to a congregation, when you're among those who believe a certain way. It's difficult sometimes to be the one who has a different opinion and then not be argumentative, obnoxious, and obstinate, but rather sit back and just let others have their belief and go your own way. No one's asking you and I to rouse it up, disrupt everything, cause a ruckus or a riot just because we're different. There are correct ways to handle this. Yeshua said in Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter in through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it. The word few there, according to one commentator, meaning a small, puny number. Remember Korach's rebellion. Korach was a man of evidently some charismatic personality and persuasive words. He had the ability to gather unto himself a few hundred men, 250 of which stood shoulder to shoulder on a select day with a fire pan in their hand, all vying and competing to be selected as the Kohen Hagadol, the high priest. 250 of these men ended up in smoke and ashes as the fire of Elohim came forth from the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and consumed them. Going with the crowd, going with those that are loud and persuasive can be dangerous, a dangerous preoccupation, a dangerous pursuit. Knowing who you are in Messiah is extremely important. Knowing where you belong and getting there. Doing what it is that you're called and gifted to do is extremely important. So let's look at the word sown. It's a sadi, an aleph, and a final noon. A sadi is that which says desire, that which says to need, that which is to catch. It's the shape of a fish hook. The aleph represents the strong one, the mighty one. And then the noon represents the fish, that which speaks of activity or life. Symbolically, then, the word sown could say to us, catching or desiring the leader's activity or the leader's life, that is, the life that is found in him. Yeshua said, I am the good shepherd. My sheep know my voice, and the voice of another they will not follow. So the sown, the flock, seeks then to catch the desire of the leader, the shepherd's life. They want to follow where he's going, be where he is at, knowing that he will guard and protect them. A shepherd who is wise will lead his sheep to green pastures, still waters, to a place where he can protect and guard against the bear and the lion, the wolf that would seek to devour. Yeshua is such a shepherd who has already demonstrated that he is willing to give his entire life for the guard and the protecting of the sheep. The key for you and I is then to know his voice. Yeshua said again in Matthew 7, this time verse 22, "Many will say to me on that day, Master, Master, open unto us. And he will say to us, Depart from me, you workers of Torahlessness, for I do not know you." If we claim to know him, does he claim to know us? There are those who align themselves with the crowd who know the Master, who seek his voice and follow after, but they themselves do not know him. Just because you're a part of the group, just because you fit the bill and you play along, it doesn't mean necessarily that he knows who you are. It is up to you to learn then to discern and to know his voice for yourself. The most critical thing that you can do in these last days is to get alone with him in your prayer closet and seek after him until he begins to speak in such a way that you can discern the Master's voice. There will be many that will rise in the last days claiming to be a Messiah or to have a messianic capability in leadership and authority. Many will be led astray because of these. It is vital that you and I learn the voice of the shepherd. So what is the shepherd offering unto us? I believe that the shepherd wants you and I to come to the altar of transformation, where they go along with the crowd for mere acceptance sake and inclusion, and to reject rejection. That we take that and lay that on the altar, that it be transformed into a desire to be a part of an effective community. Now, many of you may not be able to congregate due to some logistics, too far to travel, not a congregation available. But you can be a part of a congregation in other means. Online communities are springing up everywhere. Yah desires that you and I connect meaningfully to his body, and that as we are a part of that, then that we edify one another rather than seeking personal acceptance and personal exaltation. How do you know if you found a good congregation? If everybody is edified, everyone is meaningfully ministered to, everyone is included and loved on, no one sitting in a corner and not being paid attention to. When these things take place, rather than the exaltation of a central personality, somebody up front, then you know you're heading in the right direction. When the mindset is, I've come to gather with you to be a blessing to you, rather than a more popular version that says, I come today to get my blessing. Well, every one of us wants to be blessed. We want to be edified and encouraged. But when we come to offer our gifting, our enabling, that which we're called to do, when we offer that to the body so that everybody is edified, again, you're looking at a more meaningful relationship. Again, the key for you and I is to know the voice of Yeshua. He said, the voice of another, my sheep will not follow. Knowing his voice means then you can also recognize the voices that do not belong to him. Find those teachers, those equippers, those shepherds, those apostles and prophets and evangelists that speak with the voice of Yeshua and follow them. Not the crowd, but with shepherd-like leadership. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you again next week.